Paying. And we're
What's up,
back.
guys?
How you doing, Raymond? You
Wow,
interrupted our conversation with the show open, and our conversation was around your magical loss of weight, which I was giving you ample amount of credit for, and then come to find out, Bobby, he's like literally like Hollywooding this shit with fucking like
shots. It's a shot.
prescribed medical procedures.
Yeah.
So then when the shots stop happening, the weight's going to come right back on.
No, you wean back off of it. No, you wean back off of it.
You wean off of it?
Yeah. It's like you're on heroin.
Hey, it's working. I don't care. I can see my dick again. That's all that matters.
That's a lie. You can never really see your dick.
True.
That's it. You know.
Oh, it's turtles
right.
in. I know. Mm.
Whatever, man. Good for you.
You're in a shower.
Thank you.
You're drinking the clear liquor in an effort to lose weight, and I'll just tell you, by the end of this, there's going to be other ramifications for that. Now, you might not gain 2 pounds, but you are going to become one of the biggest assholes you've ever become in your life.
I was like that on Easter. My wife was very mad at me. She didn't talk to me. My in-laws were very disappointed in me. It was a beautiful Easter, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's how those should go.
I thought it was great.
Speaking of your wife, we did mention that the way you are losing this weight and the procedures are solely based on your wife, her professional medical opinion, and her income, which is significantly more than yours. Is that all correct?
That's 100%.
Perfect. Okay. Now I missed last show, Bobby. Thank you for welcoming me back. I'll do it for myself. Welcome back, Rich. Thank you, Bobby. Also, congratulations on you for siring yet another.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to sire. Somebody needs to populate this place.
Yeah, I respect Bobby way more for his natural. Like, he has a very newborn. Now you're within the month, like first month, where the father is basically fucking useless. Like maybe some diapers.
Correct. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you got nothing
just
to do.
Pretend that I'm taking care of the other child, but I'm not really doing anything.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see in like 60 to 90 days his eyes drooping into the back of his skull. And
he already looks like his fucking eyes are barely open right now.
Yeah, I do like that. He does yawn towards the end of these shows constantly.
He does.
So.
Yeah.
We're dragging him to the finish line. Anyway, congratulations on that. Congratulations to me for making it to the show. I did listen to last show, and Ray, you started it with a really professional intro. Do we need to say the things that you said last time? Sponsored by and with. Okay, why don't you take that over?
So thanks, Rich. Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show, sponsored by Sports Fluent Media, also on the Chilltown Network. That's it. That's all you got to say, Rich.
Wow, that you handled that really eloquently, Raymond.
Thanks, Rich.
That clear liquor is kicking in already. Well, this is a Simple Mind Sports Show where we talk Boston sports. Among other things, we try to stumble through our best we can, and we generally start with opening takes. So why don't we do that yet again? And let's start with the newly sired one, Chief Bobby Vine. Your opening take, please.
Yes, the Boston Celtics are actually the Phoenix Suns. I'm talking about the old Suns there, that Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, that front-running team. These Celtics are actually the new iteration of the Suns. So what that means is they're going to have these records that they do. They're going to set new offensive records. They're playing a new style of basketball, which Mazzulla is doing. He has his Mazzulla ball. He puts up points. They do what they do, but ultimately the Suns were unable to get it done. And unfortunately, I feel like that's what we could be looking at here with the Celtics, because I don't see any changes with how he handles things in the fourth. The Celtics have a proud history of fourth quarter resurgence of being good. Paul Pierce, even Kemba Walker when he was here, the king of the fourth himself, just in recent history. And we haven't had that here, and that's what we need to see in order for them to take it home. Playoffs start in 2 weeks. They need to develop it now.
I assume Bobby was going Patriots there, Raymond.
I did too. And you just shocked me with that Celtics take.
Nobody tells me what my opening take is.
What I like even more is bearing the lead. We have another Celtics guest on today, and he just trolled the absolute shit out of him, which is A-okay in my book. I'll take it to baseball from here. If no one's paying attention, let me clue you in. Major League Baseball season has started without a bang, if you would. The biggest news story of the MLB season was Shohei Ohtani is a degenerate gambler and blamed it on his best friend, I'm assuming, who was his translator. Other than that, the Red Sox might be good. They started their opening season 10 p.m. games on the West Coast, taking on Seattle and something called the Oakland Athletics, which are pretending to be a Major League Baseball team. Here's the point. If you're a Red Sox fan, you should be pissed, okay? Because 8 games into the season, the Red Sox look okay, potentially okay. They're not playing against the best competition, but they've got some young talent. Everything that Chaim Bloom was talking about for several years is potentially coming to fruition, at least for a couple guys. Rafaela, Cassis, we'll see if he comes into play. And all they needed was a couple splashes in free agency that were certainly for the taking all the way literally up until last week in some cases. And they didn't do it because they are on some type of timetable John Henry has put in front of them, which means you can't spend until you're a World Series contender. And even then, we'll see. Go ask the Liverpool fans. So if you're a Red Sox fan, look, you should be pissed. They got no depth. They got no major league talent. You're going to rely on these young kids. It's going to be a topsy-turvy season, but it looks like it potentially could be better than we thought. If you just had a little depth, then you might be knocking on playoff doors. So do a little Red Sox talk. Ray, your opening take.
Thank you, Richard. I did something that I haven't done in 20 years, and that was I sat down and watched women's college basketball Monday night, LSU, Iowa, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. And may I say, I was thoroughly impressed with the performance that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese put out there. It was probably one of the best basketball games I've seen all March Madness. I mean, going back and forth. College basketball needs this. They need a villain. They need a hero. The hero being Caitlin Clark, the villain being Angel Reese, and they lived up to expectations. Caitlin Clark put on performance, 41 points. I mean, what more can you say? What more of a performance can you do? It's too bad it wasn't the national championship game, but either way, it was a great game. She is all the hype that she lived up to. She is that damn good. So kudos to Iowa and LSU because that was a hell of a fucking run.
You do look skinnier. You're like he's in the melting of where he's still got the extra like skin like around his going on, but it's shedding off. You know.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do a procedure for that. They could tighten it up.
Proud of you, Raymond. Hey, Bobby. I don't know if your construction still go on, if your baby's chewing on your fucking internet cords, but why don't you figure it out because your internet blows. I watched that game too, Raymond, and that is on the schedule today. The show rundown does include some Celtics talk for Bobby with our guest, Mr. Chris Driscoll of the All American Hoops podcast. Will be joining us to talk a little Celtics. Just another lamb to the slaughter of green teamers that want to talk about how great Joe Mazzulla is. And I got some statistics for you. I went deep dive into the nerd statistics today. I could have done it with just my eyeballs, but I know these young fellas like the stats. So we'll dive into that. We'll talk about the Celtics, their chances at a championship, a little March Madness talk, UConn, just continuously. Now, the last time I basically really watched college sports was like 2004 when UConn won men's, women's national championships. And here we are again 20 years later. And you know,
Caitlin repeat itself.
Lead story, but we got some UConn news as well. I do want to talk about the Caitlin Clark game as well. The perfect prospect, Bobby. God, you must have just been you must be.
That's what he's been doing all day.
He has been rock hard for a week.
I've been on the record saying I don't want them to draft him at 3. You two want you
Okay,
two
Bobby.
do.
Okay, Bobby.
No, I don't.
Okay, Bobby. He's a perfect prospect. I don't know what you don't want about him. JJ McCarthy is who we're talking about there. Are the Red Sox good? A little more baseball talk. And then I'm really excited about this. Now, Bobby probably didn't watch Game of Thrones because he's a loser. Ray, I know
Nope. I've seen it.
You have?
Yeah.
Not a fan, though. Doesn't sound like.
No, I like Game of Thrones.
Okay, so we're all in on this. The prospect who was promised a song of suck and blow. It's happening down in Foxborough. We got a whole storyline for you. It's coming up at the end of the show. We'll close it off with Simplest Minds of the Week. This is the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday rerun April 5th, live April 4th. Welcome to the show. And here we are. Welcome. If you're watching, see, Ray always does this. He brings us back right with the guest. Instead of being able to introduce the guest, you bring him on immediately. And it's awkward because now I have to do welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you.
How's
Drop
this
your
awkward?
comments if we're live. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, rate, subscribe, review, tell your friends. As always, tell your mothers. And what would be nice to say now, Ray, please bring on our guest, Mr. Chris Driscoll. But he's already here. So welcome, Chris.
Gentlemen, thanks for having me on.
Chris, the host of the All American Hoops podcast. Catch him on TikTok, X, IG, I'm assuming whatever social media platform there is. All American Hooper is where you want to find him of some type of deiteration of All American Hooper.
Correct.
There we go. All right, Chris. Now, we have never met. I have been on a text chain, an email chain for several weeks now, catching strays from Celtics fans about my a couple weeks ago, I called them dumb front-running pussies, and it seems like that's dragging on as what I identify with the Boston Celtics. Tell us just a little bit about your fandom, where you align with the Celtics. You gave us kind of a backstory of what you believe Joe Mazzulla is and where they could go and what the Celtics are capable of. But for anybody that doesn't know, where do you align with the Boston Celtics and their fandom?
Yeah, I'm a massive Celtics fan. I'm not gonna pretend to hide and I'm not biased at all. But that being said, I do try to be as objective as possible. And objectively speaking, this is one of the best regular season teams of all time. Whether this is going to translate to the playoffs or not, who knows? Is it going to be the Phoenix Suns? I don't think so. I think this team is much better than the Suns. Top to bottom, I think Jason Tatum is far and away better than any player that Suns team had. Both CP3 and Booker. I think Jaylen Brown probably fits better with that team. I also think that the Celtics have fewer weaker links. Like they don't have a player like DeAndre Ayton or a player like Chris Paul who constantly falls apart in the playoffs. And yeah, and I know you brought up earlier how you're planning on bringing up numbers to back your arguments, which I love because I'm a huge numbers guy as well. And if you look at the numbers, this Celtics team is legit. And if they keep it up, if they do exactly what every other team has dominated like they will, they're going to hopefully be holding up that Larry O'Brien trophy in June. So that's where I am with the Celtics now. Obviously, knock wood, you never want to jinx it too hard, but this team is going to either come down to be one of the best teams that we've ever seen, or it's going to be the biggest disappointment of all time. It's going to be one of those two things, nowhere in between, unless there's an injury.
Okay,
I'm going with the biggest disappointment of all time.
Well, if those are your two options, then I think that's where the odds are going to lean. But I don't think it will be either. I think it will fall somewhere in between. The greatest team of all time.
Not greatest, no. One of the greatest. If you look at one of, because think about it. Think about how great this team is. How many games they've won. How many blowouts they've had. Look at point differential, look at net rating, look at all those stuff. They are on par with the 71 Bucks, the 72 Lakers, the 96 Bulls. Am I saying they're as good as those teams? No, they don't have the star power like they do with MJ and Kareem. But I think this team is better than the 08 Celtics. Again, we haven't seen them in the playoffs yet. So but I'm talking strictly regular season. This team is one of the best teams of all time.
Okay, so we can get to that. What will determine best teams of all time is history. And at 71, 72 Bucks and Lakers in that time period, none of us were alive. So what were they talking about at that point in time? Who knows? But even take it back to 92, 93 Bulls, like Jordan's first run with the Bulls, was there talk of greatest teams and players of all time? Not quite really, but history and the stacking of
Sure.
accolades will determine that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's back it up just a little bit, but because before you get to the greatest of all time, like if they just win this year and then they fall on their face for the rest of Tatum's career, they'll never be considered the greatest of all time because of what they did after that championship, right? So let's just stick with this year and let's go one thing at a time. And where I want to start with is the head coach, which I don't think is going to be the reason you really win or lose, but on the margins is going to be whether Celtics win or lose. And a piece of that margin is their coach, who I think, and I believe my co-hosts think, blows.
Mhm.
Kind of without question.
Mhm.
Disagree. You've told us that Joe Mazzulla is a good coach. He's grown into his role. The simple question is, what's the evidence? And before you go, Chris, I don't, Bobby or Ray, you haven't had any chance to talk on this yet to open it up. So if you have anything on Joe Mazzulla before Chris talks about
No,
him.
just two games against the Hawks. I mean, that you showed that Joe Mazzulla doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, that first loss against the Hawks, they blew a 30-point lead. There was no crunch time timeouts to go over plays or try to draw something up. You just let those guys go, dribble, one isolation ball, nothing drawn up, saving 2 timeouts. It's not like he had 1 timeout and he was just saving it. He had 2 timeouts. Then they go back and play the rubber match with them on Thursday night, and they do the same thing again. Crunch time again. Jason Tatum, ISO ball in the corner, have everyone go out on the wings and just have one-on-one. It's just not coaching. Like, you need to be able to coach these guys and draw up something in these crunch time situations when you play good teams like Denver in the playoffs, Milwaukee, 76ers. Like, these teams against like Atlanta, you shouldn't be doing this shit. You should be calling timeouts. You should be drawing up a play of some sort of situational ball, and Joe Mazzulla just doesn't like to do that. He just likes the guys to go out and play. I just don't like that.
Chris, Ray is so loose-lipped on clear liquor. It's really fun to watch.
Yes.
Bobby, I'll give you a chance as maybe the number one Joe Mazzulla hater from day one of his.
Yeah.
And let me just point the picture. None of us think that Joe Mazzulla like fantastically blows. It's all within the conversation of championship medal, right? And on the margin, are you going to do something that helps your team win or helps your team lose? And I think, and Bobby backed me up, mostly everything we've seen from Mazzulla is not things that will help them win. Generally, it's things that are getting in the way.
Yeah, my main beef with Mazzulla is in-game management, and I would say really specifically making tough calls and how he manages the people on the roster. I have a problem with how he allows Tatum to run the offense. I think they brought in Drew Holiday, and that he should be the one kind of more manifesting that. It also makes me have a slight problem with Drew Holiday, that he's not the one stepping up and doing that. I don't think Mazzulla is particularly capable at drawing up plays in the late game. That's why he doesn't call timeouts. I think he's one thing you can say about Mazzulla is the man has a plan. He does know basketball. I won't say he doesn't know basketball because he comes up with a plan, but when they start a plan at the beginning of the game, they never fucking change it. They'll come out at halftime and do the same stuff when the other team is adjusted. And then that's why they let these teams get back into games. I just don't think he can make the necessary adjustments in a 7-game series.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Joe Mazzulla is just some wizard in fourth quarter scenarios, because he's not. But that being said, coaching is far more than just making late game adjustments and drawing up plays for the fourth quarter and calling the timeouts when appropriate. But just to address those points, just to begin, I don't think it's really fair to be using just the Atlanta games as examples, because let's be honest, those games don't really matter. And as great as it would have been to win those games and put some things away, then they knew like this. What Mazzulla even said in the post game conference, these games are games to learn about things. Like, these games are to learn. Can Porzingis guard Murray on the perimeter? Can he be that guy? We learned that he probably can't, and now we know that for the playoffs. The great thing about being such a great team is that now for the end of the season we can try some of these things out. I think what makes Joe Mazzulla a great coach is the fact that he's gotten his players to buy in. He entered. People talk about how he inherited a situation where it was just Ime's baby. That's not true at all. He entered a scenario where he was literally hired the day after a massive scandal, and all the players didn't want Ime fired, but the players still found a way to buy into the scenario. And last year it was also by like March, 3 of the coaches, Ime, Will Hardy, and Damon Stoudemire, were all gone. So this is someone who didn't have any experience up until last year, and I really think that he's grown into the role. And you're wondering why I say he grew into the role. I think he has a new team this year, and though the team is absolutely better from starting lineup wise, he also has had to make some adjustments with lineups, especially in games where Porzingis is injured. I think that he's gotten the most out of Brandon Pritchard. He's gotten the most out of Sam Hauser and Luke Kornetz. So even though it's those late game executions that are kind of hurting us down the stretch. I think big picture wise, Joe Mazzulla absolutely can be the guy to win us the finals, especially with this roster.
Fair enough. I will say that he's gotten better. I don't think from last year to now he's gotten better. The inherited situation, I think we have to be careful anytime we use a sentence and Ime and baby are in the same sentence around the Celtics organization. We just have to be a little bit careful because we're not quite sure exactly what went down there still. It's okay. It's okay. We try to be as careful as possible on the show. Beyond that, look, he inherited a tough situation last year for sure. And we can't let Brad Stevens off the hook because he has been trying to push into this system and 3-point heavy system, trying to be the Golden State Warriors for years. And Joe Mazzulla has been on the staff for a couple years. So he was part of that evolution and part of that system that they wanted to move forward with, including Ime, who had a different philosophy. He was defense first, but was into the 3-point offensive system. And now Joe Mazzulla has just taken that 3-point, that emphasis on 3-point shooting to a level on steroids, right? So Ray, I think we have a clip for this, and give me a second. We'll play it after this. His emphasis on that 3-point shooting last year and the beginning of this year, I think, was to a detriment. And maybe they have started to learn from that and some of these games in the regular season that they can't just rely on it and they're going to have to win in different ways. And maybe we've seen them try to do that a couple times this year. But there's a chance that it still could be a problem. Ray, do you have a clip?
Obviously, a lot of 3-pointers tonight. How'd you like the quality of the shots that you were getting? Seemed like there was a stretch where they were forced, and then there was a stretch where you got them driving kick.
Yeah. I love 3-pointers. I like math. I like open threes. I like space, and I think it's a huge strength of our team. And so the thing we have to learn on the offensive end is exactly what you said, just making sure we're getting the best actual shot every time down. And regardless of if it goes in or not, it's a good shot. And so we did a great job tonight of, when the shots weren't falling, of continuing to compete defensively, and I thought that was great.
I hear the disgust from Bobby. I'm the same way. I'm the same thing. I love 3-pointers and I love math. Fuck you, Jones.
I hate that.
nerd
oh
bitch.
My god.
Get the heck out of my face. That aggravates me so much. And then secondly, goes in or goes not, good shot.
It's just not.
Oh, I hate that.
That's just not how the head coach. That's like coordinator talk. That's what that is. That's like he is great at setting up a scheme, like a plan. Like if he's your guy that gives that, he's like, here's your scheme, head coach. You go implement it and get the buy-in. He's probably perfect at that, but he can't do the other things.
Coordinator is kind of exactly how I'd put it, Chris. That's where he feels right now. And look, I'm going to give him as much benefit out. He's 35. He was thrown in the position last year. Probably needed some more seasoning, and he's getting it on the job with the best roster in the NBA. So he's learning. He's thrown in front of the media. He's got a fiery attitude, certainly. Dare I say cunty without any success. That does not go over very well with especially Boston fans. But Bobby hit it on the head. I think, how I would describe it, he's got a coordinator attitude without a head coaching experience, which I think clashes in game, and we've seen it. And Ray brings up the Hawks games, not because they lost, but because in the nature in which they lost, which came down to the last possessions and their inability to execute, which is now not a trend or a pattern. It's an identity. Really, it's 2-3 years that they have failed in these situations, and we'll go on to that. That's our next segment, Celtics by the numbers in clutch time, which is not great. So, sticking with Mazzulla, Chris, I think those are your main critiques, and certainly with time he can get over those. But right now, that's what you have to deal with heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that being great with media is in the job description for being a head coach, because Greg Popovich and Steve Kerr have been great with media for the past few years.
Hold on,
if I'm not mistaken.
I'll stop you right there, Chris. Greg Popovich has 4 fucking championships.
He's been no.
So does Belichick. When Belichick stopped winning championships, they booted him out of fucking Foxborough. So you can be an asshole, but you got to win.
He's been an asshole for 20 years before he started winning. Same thing with Steve Kerr.
But no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, my friend.
1,000,000%
In
was. He
2000,
1,000,000%.
go look at the press conference in 2000. You haven't seen Belichick smile since 2008. In 2000, he was smiling and yada yada yada. We're all buddy, and then they won, and then he was an asshole. So you can be an asshole when you win. When you don't win, you can't be an asshole, especially after you blow a 30-point lead to one of the worst teams in the league and fail to execute in the last possession again. After dribbling the ball for 19 fucking seconds and taking a shitty shot.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a good look to be a dick to the media after blowing a 30-point lead. Kind of like I mentioned Popovich. He looks like a massive asshole after the 2021 Olympics after they had like a massive blown lead. But like I was just adding on to the point that like you don't really need to be like a nice guy, like a kiss up to the media. But kind of got off a point there. But yeah, like the whole like I like math thing. Like I know that could be a little corny, but that being said, as I mentioned, I do think that analytics, like eye test matters 100%, but I do think that analytics does really drive the success. And the Celtics do have the most the Celtics do attempt the most. I think they attempt the most threes, and I think they're the first or second in threes, and I think I have the stats mixed up. They're like first or second in threes attempted, but then they're also first or second in threes made. So. And I really don't think that it's just a matter of the Celtics only chucking up threes, because they're also second in post up as well. The whole notion that they only shoot threes and that's the only way they can win is just false. And by the way, the only team that leads them that has more post ups than the Celtics is the Nuggets. And are you asking them to do more post ups than Nikola Jokic? That's not good basketball. But like I said, this isn't real. Like. The way he answered it, not really for that, but yeah, and I can get into the clutch time stats. We can do that in a little bit, but I know you probably wanted to touch on that a little bit later, so you can.
No, it's fine, and we jumped down your throat, and I apologize. We'll take it to the stats and the numbers, and again, the conversation, and this is why it gets heated, because we're in a championship conversation, right? If we were dealing with the Isaiah Thomas Celtics, it would be a lot more fun, because everyone in the back of their mind would know they're not going to win, and if they do win, that'd be amazing.
They have to win.
If they don't win, it's a massive failure. And
that's why I said it in my opening segments. If they lose, this will be the biggest failure probably since the 2016 Warriors, like when they didn't win the finals, even though they won the year before. This will be the biggest failure since the 2016 Warriors.
Yeah, it's on for Boston. It's it's not 07 Patriots, but it's 2019 Bruins. Like it's there for the taking, right? So. That's what we're discussing. We're discussing the reasons why they could lose, and it's 100% on the margins. Like if you look at the East, realistically, if you ask me, can anybody beat them in the East? I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I think if you got Miami in the second round, that would just be scary because of their history. But Miami's really down this year, and I get last year they were an 8th place team, but this year they're even worse.
Philly scares me. Milwaukee scares me. Those are the only two teams in the East that scare me. The
Philly doesn't scare me, and Milwaukee doesn't scare me because you own them. And I think your number one, and Chris, you said this in your email, the only thing that's going to beat the Celtics is the Celtics. And their biggest detriment is their mental fortitude, right? And their lack of it against teams that they don't have confidence against. They have confidence against the Bucks, and they have confidence against the Sixers. The Cavs will push them, but I just don't think they have the talent or the consistent talent.
And Mitchell's injured too. Like, I don't think he's going to get back to 100%.
Yeah.
The Knicks would scare me too if Julius Randle was there, but Julius Randle just got hurt. Yeah, he's done for the season, so they don't scare me either. So basically, I just think, I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I'm just saying the 76ers and Milwaukee probably give them the toughest test in the East.
Sure, but in terms of losing sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No worries. I'll be quick. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's a world where the Phillies beat the Celtics unless Embiid goes ballistic, which I don't think he will be, just because he won't be 100%. I do think there is a world where Giannis goes ballistic and Dame doesn't miss a shot for 3 or 4 games and they beat the Celtics. I think those are the two scenarios where they might lose. But is that going to happen? I give the Sixers like a 10% chance, the Bucks maybe like a 25% chance, maybe a little, maybe not being generous enough. But yeah, just those two teams, like you said, right?
Well, yeah, and I look at those two guys in those two scenarios, Chris. If Embiid goes ballistic and Giannis and those guys go ballistic, generally in the NBA, that means the other team is also going ballistic, right?
Sure.
And the Celtics just have more firepower.
Well,
So
the
if you-
averages, yes.
if you want to get in a shootout, I think the Celtics win. If you want to get in a defensive struggle, I think the Celtics win. The only place the Celtics don't win is in clutch time scenarios where
Right.
their numbers absolutely suck. And I'm going to give them to you. And again, margins. But this is how they lost last year. So they lost the year before to the Warriors. When they get in pressure situations, they kind of stink. Not kind of. They just stink. So here you go, Ray. Celtics by the numbers. They're 60-16, by the way. They clinched home field. The championship goes through Boston, people. First 60-win team since the 08 Celtics. A lot of talk about the 08 Celtics in this team.
Anything's possible.
Kevin Garnett's not walking through that door, people.
No, he's
But,
not.
okay. They are, Chris, you mentioned at 42.5, which is about 3 more than the Mavs, who are second, which is pretty significant. They shoot a lot of threes. We're in Missoula ball here. They're also first in 3-point percentage, 39% from behind the arc. A couple other stats here. Assists, they're 14th, which is kind of lower than they've been in the past. Not great. And these are 2 different stats, Chris. You had mentioned post up, and what I have is points in the paint, which are 2 different things. So we're not on the same page there. But points in the paint, they're 29th. And free throw attempts, they're 22nd. So those 2 stats scare me a little bit.
Well, you're bitching for a call every time. The refs aren't going to call it. So,
well, the points in the paint is a little bit different because if you match that with Chris's stat of post up, which if they're on the top of the league, then that's a kick out move and they're shooting threes. But free throw attempts is different. 22nd in free throw attempts just means you're not attacking the rim enough. If you're 22nd,
they don't want to.
Are you sure you want Jaylen Brown taking more free throws?
No,
which is another problem.
Well, the other ones. I'm with you there, 100%. Yeah.
All right, let me run through these clutch stats as a team. Okay, I'm gonna take you from 5 points with 5 minutes left to 1 point with 1 minute left. All right, and it's fairly staggering. Did you send Chris the email? Does he have this in front of him? Or
Yes, I do.
Okay, so here you go. All right, so with here's what the NBA.com or I forget. Sorry, NBA player stats, NBA team stats has to tell you. 5 point game, plus or minus, whether you're losing or winning, or with 5 minutes left. The Celtics ranked 11th in this category. They are 20-12. Now we move to a 4 point game with 4 minutes left. Now they're 16th. They're 15-12. 3 point game with 3 minutes left. They're 17th, 12-12, right at 500. Notice a trend. 2 point game, 2 minutes left. They're 16th, 9-11, under 500. 1 point. Here's the big one. 1 point game, 1 minute left. They're 23rd in the league. They're 4-8, under 500, and under 30 seconds. Anywhere from a 1 to 3 point game, they're under 500, around 9-12 in their record. If you look at that trend, as the game gets tighter and the clock boils down,
the buttholes get tighter.
Tighten up. It's the name of the game, Raymond. It's hard to fucking go against it. Chris, you want to just go to the player stats too? Because I think this also tells the story. I have the clutch time stats, 2 point game within a minute. And then we have some more in detail is from Celtics, Tatum and Brown. But I'm just going to give you the NBA and kind of their contemporaries. So here's your scenario. It's a 2 point game with 1 minute left. All right. Jason Tatum has been in 16 of these games. His offensive rating is 75. His usage is 32.6. Jaylen Brown has been 17 of these games. His offensive rating is 74. His usage is 19. Okay, so Tatum, offensive rating 75. Brown, offensive rating 74. Here's your contemporaries. In the same scenario, Paul George, offensive rating 181. James Harden, 100. Kawhi Leonard, 176. Luka, 153. Kyrie, 171. Kevin Durant, 114. Devin Booker, 145. Dame Lillard, 107. Giannis, 105. Again, Tatum, 75. Brown, 74. And you guys have the email in front of you. I know it's not there for the listeners, but the usage is Your top guy is around 30, 31. Luka's at 40. Lillard's at 44. And your second guy is around 20, 22. Bobby, it seems like you have something to say there. The disparaging numbers are your offensive rating. Within the statistic, it's kind of the only thing to kind of judge, how well they're doing. 75 for Tatum. Kevin Durant, 114. Luka, 153. James Harden, 100. So you take that, you combine it with what we just went over with the team stats, clutch stats of 1 point games and 1 minute, 2 point games. They're under 500 left. It's a flaw. It's a fatal flaw. They don't execute down the stretch. The eyes tell you that. The stats tell you that. The history tells you that. The only question is, can they be good enough in a 7-game series to beat teams by 10 4 times out of 7? In my opinion, unless Bobby or Chris, you have different opinions on the statistics that we just laid out.
Yeah, those are concerning statistics, to say the least. I'm not. Yeah, again, I'm not a Joe. I'm a Joe Mazzulla fan. I'm not a Joe Mazzulla truther, though. Even though, so, my only thing is this has been I think you mentioned earlier. You said it's been an issue for 2 or 3 years. It's been an issue for 4 or 5 years. It's been an issue since 2020. Yeah, Brad Stevens was still the coach of 2020. It's been an issue since 2020 when they were addicted to blowing leads. So, and as the game gets tighter, like tighter and like smaller windows, it does get worse. But also, like, what only thing I'd say that is the sample size also gets smaller as well. So, especially as far as it goes for this year, if we're just looking at clutch time, which clutch time is, as you mentioned, it's the last 5 minutes for games within 5. The Celtics are 6th in offense, 7th in defense, and 5th in net rating, which I thought was interesting, just because I felt like against the Hawks, they were doing really well on offense, but they were just getting cooked on defense. So, if your question is, can they be good enough to win by 10 points every game? I don't think to win by 10 points every game, but to win by have like a strong enough lead to in like a best out of 7 game series, I do think so. And I can add more for that. But if you I'll let you respond to what I have to say. Bobby. What I just said.
Yeah, I mean, analytics are based off of the entire season. If you do these trends, you can predict a certain result, which is why then when you get into the playoffs and the sample size shrinks down, they don't predict outcomes as much. True. Really, what matters is more it's manalytics. It's the men stopping the other people in front of them. And that's what it is in these small scenarios in the fourth quarter. It's just the players saying, no, I don't care what you're doing or what you tell us to do. We're just going to win this next minute. And I just don't think that these players have the testicular fortitude to do that currently. They haven't shown it.
And the coach and the players don't have, because look, we started this segment off with Joe Mazzulla and not being the reason they lose. And I said it, you said it, Chris. Brad Stevens, they had the same problems. Ime Udoka, they have the same problems. Now Joe Mazzulla, they have the same problem. So inevitably in the NBA, it comes down to your players and specifically your best player, especially when you're a team that takes a 30-point lead in 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, you give it to your best player to get an 8-second violation, walking the ball up the court as you piss away 30-point leads 3 times in a week and a half between the Cavs, the Bucks without Giannis, and then Atlanta. 2 weeks, whatever that stretch was, it was a bad stretch of bad habits creeping back into that team. If you had a coach with experience, even if it was Ime, who had experience as an assistant, to call a timeout and slap these fucking kids around and say, shape up. That's your difference on this bench, which Joe Mazzulla does not make. He does not make that difference on the bench. He has not proven to do that. I don't think there's any evidence to prove otherwise. And that's and that could be the difference between winning a championship and losing a championship. Spo has proven that. Even Steve Kerr at times has made adjustments, benching Clay, benching Draymond at certain times, where in hard situations, one little move can be the difference in a game. So you have a detriment there in Joe Mazzulla, and then you have a detriment in your clutch time players, specifically in Tatum, but also in Brown. If you follow these numbers, I have them specifically for your top players. In 5-point games, Tatum with 5 minutes left, Tatum has 119 rating. You follow that trend all the way down to 1-point games with 1 minute left, Tatum has a 61.5 offensive rating. If you contract that, and I know, Chris, you said the sample size, but if you contrast that with his contemporaries across the league, the good guys, their offensive rating go up when the game gets tighter. Tatum's plummet. I mean, 119 to 61. Offensive rating of 119 in a 5-point game with 5 minutes left to 61 in a 1-point game with 1 minute left. It's basically a last shot kind of situation. I don't know. If you want to be a statistics guy, they bear out that this is not a team that can handle pressure at the end of the game and execute at the end of the game. And just watching for several years, this team, that's evident that they can't. Not saying they won't, just that they haven't to this point.
Yeah. And I don't blame you for being skeptic about that, because you're not going to get your full flowers until you actually do it. I have full faith in this team. They're a young team. They also have vets. They have Horford and Holiday to really fire them up. And you mentioned how like Ime is a guy who was really good at like calling timeouts and then really slapping them around. I think that Sam Cassell has been very good at that actually for them too. But yeah, like I said, I do understand the skepticism around like last minute shots. I'm not too concerned about it though, because it doesn't happen as often as it doesn't happen too often. And like I said, smaller sample size. Tatum does. I think your guest said last week, like he has had a history of being clutch in certain situations. He had the clutch shot against the Sixers in game 4 last year, which granted they lost that game. But all it takes is one, and no, it doesn't take one, but all it takes is like only a stretch of a couple of games for them to either win or lose. I'm very confident in their ability based on their large sample size, but and I do think that they will win the finals because of how dominant they were from the beginning to the end. But if you think that but if you think that they're going to completely like fall on their face like they have done the past couple of years, granted they have been as good as they are this year the past couple of years, but I do understand.
Sure. Yeah. No. And I'm not guaranteeing they're going to fall in the face. If you take the Celtics versus the field, the Celtics should have the odds. Denver probably has their number. They're the defending champions. They have the best. They have the best player in the league. So you go up against Denver in the West, and you're in for a dogfight.
Did you guys see that the Clippers are actually third or second behind the Nuggets for the West?
Yeah, they've been going up fast.
That's blasphemy. I don't see that happening at all. As someone who had the Clippers to come out of the West beginning of the year, I don't think that's happening.
No.
Well, just wait for the second round. James Harden will go 0 for 13 and disappear, and
Well, it depends on what teams they play. Yeah, strip clubs.
Everything
depends on what city has strip clubs.
All depends on matchups. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of Jason Tatum being a Carmelo Anthony or a guy that is really, really good in the regular season and given the ball in pressure situations can't do it. What Jason Tatum should recognize right now with his team is I don't need to do it. I can't do it. So why should I do it? You run a 30-point lead playing Joe Mazzulla ball for 3.5 quarters, for 2.5 quarters. Just keep passing the ball. You got 4 all-stars in your starting lineup, 5 all-stars in your starting lineup. You got plenty of guys that can hit a shot. You got a champion in Drew Holiday. Just move it. Don't try to be Kobe Bryant. Win a ring and then go be Kobe Bryant. Just win the ring. Do what you have to do to win the ring.
Chris,
he's got more. He's got more endorsement deals and sneaker. It's like he's already won. He's the most endorsed player in Boston I've ever seen that hasn't won shit. Go fucking win, dude. Give the ball up in the 4th quarter. Pass it.
Chris already said it
Stop
best.
Porzingis. He's 7'3", can shoot from 50 feet away.
Give it
Run
to Derek
the
White.
offense through the guy. It's just frustrating to watch.
If they don't win it this year, it's the biggest embarrassment in Celtics history. Clearly.
It might be. It's up there. Chris, we appreciate your time, man. One more time, go ahead and plug where we can find your stuff for Celtics content.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Yeah. All American Hooper for all of my on all social media platforms on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Also take a look at my column on primetimesportstalk.com. I write about mostly basketball, but also a little bit about baseball and football as well. Again, gentlemen, thanks for having me on the show.
Appreciate it,
Thank you.
Chris.
Thanks, man.
And well done for taking on the chin from three of us assholes.
Well, one asshole, two chums.
Fair enough. Thanks, Chris.
Later, man.
You know, it's just and I like Chris. First time I met him, what he said, nothing he said was terribly wrong.
Yep.
But no one wants to look at the situations which are really going to matter or are really going to determine an NBA championship. Like they lost to the fucking Heat. They went 0-3. They went down 0-3 to the Heat last year.
Yeah.
Who suck.
Well, it was just like he didn't really have any retort for our criticisms. He's just like, yeah, that's there, but like these things are good because they just kind of can't be. They're pretty clear criticisms. They really can't be refuted.
This thing was the sample size, and in the sample size, and you made an excellent point, Bobby, and we've touched on a lot. Analytics are driven from a large sample size, and when you get down to a 7-game series, your analytics don't mean anything.
No,
they don't mean anything. Because all it takes is 4 games out of 7 and you lose. So your numbers are skewed. They don't matter. And you need to be able to adjust on the fly. Yeah. And you need to be able to have a guy that can take the ball and deliver when you need him to deliver. And Tatum can only do that when things are kind of going right. I've yet to see him do it when things are off or wrong. Yeah. And until he does,
bit of a front runner.
Until he does, I look this year. If the Nuggets were around, he could do it. Pissing his pants probably because the competition is not as high as it needs to be to beat the Celtics because they're not good. But the Nuggets are a problem. If they roll in with those same tendencies and statistics in late game situations, they will not win the championship against the Golden State against the Denver Nuggets. They won't.
No, they
the
won't.
The biggest challenges are out west. I don't think the East is going to give them a problem. I think it's the West.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the finals. I do agree with that.
Yeah, same.
Barring injury or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, that was a lot of Celtics talk. We got a lot to get to, so we're going to burn through it here. But first, headlines with the obvious one.
Thank you there, Richard. Let me get a solo before you get very mad at me. The Celtics have won 60 games this season and lock up the first seed.
You're not fucking solo.
Oh, shit. I don't care. And home court throughout the playoffs. So does the regular season matter anymore? Speaking of teams that coasted through the regular season and thought they were king shit, the Bruins have 6 games left and atop the Eastern Conference. Oh, man, I got to mute your ass. Fucking A. God damn it. The Bruins have 6 games left and sit atop the Eastern Conference. They take on the Carolina Hurricanes as we record. The goddamn Red Sox have one of the easiest openings.
Music's too loud. Can't hear you.
This has been Headlines with the Obvious One. Back to you, Richard.
Can I get a transition?
Yep. I'm giving you shit.
Come on, man.
No, you want to be a cunt? No.
I'm not being a cunt. That's terrible.
I know, because you were talking. I couldn't mute you. Fucking
you want me to fucking do what you're supposed to do. Just do what you're supposed. You're like Tatum right now.
Yeah,
I'm the coach telling you to do what you do, and you. Thank you. This is the only thing you know how to hit that actually works, which is good. This is good. This works. Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
God. You were home today?
Oh, yeah.
Watching Survivor?
Yeah. Good episode, too.
Just a binge watch Survivor Day?
No, I just watched last night's episode. I didn't stay up late.
You watch Big Brother, too?
No, I don't watch Big Brother. I don't watch Amazing Race, Big Brother. No,
have you watched all Survivor? How long? Survivor's been on the air for like 20 something.
No, I haven't watched all of it. I started probably, I don't know.
It's a bad show. Why do you watch it?
I love it. Cutthroat, lying, cheating. I just like it. It's a concept. Okay. All in the jungle.
It's very. Hey, why not? Hey, why not answer?
Thank you. I like it. It's just one of those shows. I like reality TV.
Yeah.
It's just one of
I
those
can't
game
stand
shows I
reality
like.
TV.
And I know you don't, Bobby. I
Ugh.
love reality TV.
You know what I'd love? I'd love a technology. Well, I don't know if I'd like this, Bobby. It may like literally kill me. But if I could just zap my brain into race, because I know the answer's in there. He just can't articulate it. He
No,
can't.
I told you I
From
like
his brain-
reality TV.
No,
I
you
like
said,
you going
I like
up.
it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's your description of why you liked it.
Okay.
It's not worth you getting zapped into that fucking mess, okay?
I don't know. He's losing a bunch of weight. I might be getting there. Look,
I can just imagine you living like if your brain would erase body for one day, what would you do?
oh man, if I had to be that,
So you're
Kill
yourself,
himself. Kill
but
himself.
you're Ray, but you get to walk around as Ray for that day.
I was just wheezing constantly. It would be.
Fuck you, fatty.
Oh, look at how confident he is. Look at him with his fucking
He thinks he's so good.
bustling jowls. He thinks he's you think he's Brad fucking Pitt.
Feel like it sometimes.
His goddamn shots with his hyperbolic fucking modern medicine.
Jealousy is an ugly
He's getting
fucking color on you,
goddamn-
first and foremost.
He's
Okay?
getting goddamn elephant tranquilizers in him so he doesn't eat fucking
Do
snacks.
they put it in your butt?
He's
The thing?
goddamn
Do they-
Brad
do they
Pitt.
poke
No,
you
it's
in
my
everybody's
stomach.
butt?
Let's
Oh.
see that gut, dark side of the fupa. Fuck you, you fat fuck. Oh, I didn't think so. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you look good. You look great.
Look at
You look
that.
great. Stop projecting, you fatty. Stop projecting. It's unbecoming of you.
I'll be coming in your mother later on.
There it is. It was a layup. Can we talk about women's hoops?
Sure.
Do we have to?
That's a good transition.
Yeah.
Let me answer this question for Bobby. Did you watch the Iowa LSU game? No.
No.
No. God, no.
I did. You know the
I
only
did.
college basketball game I've watched in 2 years?
That
Iowa
one?
LSU.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, I think, a common known fact of my contemporaries and friends that I do not like college sports. College football aggravates me because I think it fucks up the NFL. College basketball aggravates me because they suck. All
Yeah.
of them blow. They can't shoot. They
Except?
cannot shoot.
Except
For Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark can shoot. 100% she can shoot. None of the other teammates can shoot. Well, there's one other girl on there that shot a little bit. The rest of them,
can't shoot.
they all suck too.
They're
And let me
missing
tell you
bunnies.
something. Angel Reese looked okay, I guess. She's bigger than everybody else. That women's basketball game, watching that, it was, I don't want to say they sucked, and they didn't suck, but it was a completely different product. Completely different product than the men's
Lots of
basketball game.
fundamentals.
It wasn't even necessarily fundamentals. It was just like a lot closer to the basket and some like unorthodox movements. Like Angel Reese had a steal and a breakaway in her layup, like started like
Ooh, such a gross layup that
it was
she has.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there was a lot of that and just like a lot of scoring close to the basket without any defense, like not a lot of physicality. And maybe that, maybe the lack of physicality is a thing. So it was that. And then the Caitlin Clark thing, clearly she's an unbelievable scorer and shoot. Well, I'll say shooter because what pissed me off, Caitlin Clark could get to the middle of the lane anytime she wanted and
She
stop
didn't.
and pop at a free throw line. Would not do it. She could score 60 if she could hit a stop and pop at the free throw. She wouldn't do it.
But she can make a logo fucking three though. Holy
She can
shit.
she can make an NBA 3+3. She didn't put any logos in that game.
Not that game, but she's done it before.
But also, I was watching that and she started to go off, and I'm like, have women's basketball ever heard of a hedge? Have you ever heard of a hedge?
Mm-mm.
They're 40 feet from the basket. Hedge this girl. She's not going to drop a dime on you from 30 feet for a bunny. Like, hedge her. Switch. They wouldn't. They did
would.
it for like a minute and a half, and the LSU went on a run. They went on like a 6-point run, and then they stopped, and she buried two like 25 footers. I was like, so the whole thing, it was exciting. It was fun to watch, but watching the women's basketball, it was like it just aggravated me. But that's not specifically women's, that's college in general. I hate watching college sports. They're a bunch of idiots. They're a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old fucking morons out there that don't know what they're doing and are not very good at what they're doing. It aggravates the fuck out of me watching college sports.
They put on a pretty good performance, I think.
Well, your bar is very low.
Thank you.
Do you have any opinion on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? And in terms of their impact on women's sports in general and their next move to the WNBA, the NIL, Reese made like $1 million in NIL. Caitlin Clark made like $5 million.
Obviously, they did something because they had 12 million people watch that game on Monday night.
I
mean, so obviously they promoted it well. I mean, you had a villain, you had a hero, like I said in my opening take. That is what everyone wants to see. The hero go out there and beat the villain to get the monkey off their back. I don't know if I should have said that, but yeah, they basically Caitlin Clark went out there and beat Reese, Angel Reese. That's something she didn't do. National championship game, she choked last year. She went out there and put on a performance this year, 41 points. I mean, it's just sickening. It was a great game to watch.
All of that is very true, right? Like the drama and the playing it up, all of that is included in all of men's professional sports, and certainly college football. That type of drama is played up with a specific athlete. And if women's sports did that more, maybe they'd get more of a draw. But 12.3 million viewers for Iowa and LSU for that game. For
an Elite Eight game.
It's massive. Obviously, it's massive. It's really incredible. Caitlin Clark is a sensation and has taken over, a lot of sports media. It's just hard to say, like, how do you replicate that to continue the escalation of women's sports? Because I watched that, and this is not just a women's thing. This is a men's college sports thing too, specifically men's college basketball. It's like one guy is above the rest, and the rest of the guys suck, and like they're gonna go sell insurance for the rest of their life. And in men's college basketball, it's one and done. So you can't create a rivalry. You can't create a Reese versus Caitlin Clark thing because they're going to the NBA in 1 year. So yeah, I don't know. Look, it was. It's cool to tune in. It was something different for me. It's not, women's college basketball. After watching that game, what we can be considered maybe one of the best women's college basketball games, to view, is not going to draw me into the rest of women's college basketball. But I'm sure the rest of Caitlin Clark's run will be highly viewed. I'll be tuning in. She's a story. She's a story.
Can she beat UConn? No, but I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, can you play the Paul Pierce clip?
Absolutely.
He kind of sums it up.
Yep, here you go.
I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls. Well, of course. That made it like, that gained my respect. That gained my respect.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
That's like, she didn't do this to some other little white girls that was over here in Colorado, wherever. She did it to some girls from LSU who we thought was some dogs.
Defending champs.
And put them on their knee and spanked them. And so I know, but I didn't expect that.
That's amazing.
Off the handle.
How uncomfortable is Skip Bayless?
What?
I hear you. Paul Pierce is just living to kicked off of networks.
Oh yeah,
he's not wrong, but like,
no.
Of course, that's why people tuned in. And the race thing, like if you dove into the Twitter thing, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, and the LSU team versus Iowa team, and even on TV, like
if
that was within your
white.
mind, it's black versus white. And Paul Pierce goes out there and says what everybody looked at, what everybody was seeing, what everybody was thinking, and Skip Bayless can't fucking handle it. He's been in the media so long, like that can't even cross his register to talk about. And Keyshawn's like, throw me the damn ball. I don't, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Paul Pierce is a national goddamn treasure. That's all I got. UConn, men's and women's are back in the finals. If you care about that, we're from Boston. I went to Springfield. I went to school with some UConn fans that were from Connecticut. So there's a little bit, anytime they're in the news, I get it. It
cool.
Filters in. I don't care. the greatest nights, maybe not greatest, but wildest nights I've ever had from a party's perspective have been at UConn. It is, I can't even repeat the things that happened on this air, but so I have that connection. I also don't really care. I don't really care.
Quick break.
Anyone,
You want to go quick break?
no. Did anyone have anything to say
hear-
with UConn?
No, I think UConn's going to win
Bobby
both
went
men's
to
and
school in
women's.
Connecticut. He lives in Connecticut. He's
I know
a
that was the
Connecticut
first time I
hawk.
got maced. When I went to visit you in Springfield, we went to a nightclub with Bobby in Hartford, I think, and we got maced at the fucking nightclub. That was the last time and first time and only I ever got maced.
I was with you?
Yeah,
I got maced?
we all got maced in the club. We had to go out because we couldn't see and we couldn't breathe.
What?
I don't remember that.
It wasn't like us specifically got maced, but they maced people in the fucking club, and we all had to leave because we couldn't breathe and see.
All these nights blur together.
I'm sorry, guys. That's just one that stuck out to me. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Yeah,
we there a lot.
I'm going to call bullshit on that. There's a lot of talk about how Connecticut's useless and sucks. Bobby, do you have any retort to that? Living in
No,
Connecticut?
I don't care about UConn.
Very good. Okay, then quick break.
Restless mind.
Yeah, I can't fade it in and out. I'm sorry, baby. I know.
Okay. The YouTube didn't help.
I was looking at other stuff today.
All right. Boobs.
Of course.
Where? All right, Bobby, the perfect prospect. It's mentioned at the top of the show. Patriots are interested in JJ McCarthy, number 3.
I don't believe that. they're
Raymond, run the clip.
Which one do you want? You want Tony Pauline? Here we go.
Tony Pauline in his latest mock draft. Now, a mock draft is not a report, but when he writes up why he thinks the Patriots are taking JJ McCarthy, number 3, he says, I personally am not big on McCarthy being a top 10 selection, but McCarthy to New England was the buzz on the pro day circuit. De facto general manager Eliot Wolf is pushing hard for McCarthy, and he believes he has as much upside as any quarterback in this draft.
That's a
I don't believe
punchable face. That is a punchable face.
They all
Bobby,
have
this is your
faces.
statement. JJ McCarthy at 3, the perfect prospect as you deemed him.
I didn't
Why
mean
should-
it as if I think he's the perfect prospect. When I said that, I mean there are no clear red flags, which is why GMs would like him. Because they're not going to look at him and say, well, he's going to fail because of X, Y, or Z.
Here's his perfect prospect. He can't throw over 200 yards a game. He never did it in Michigan. This guy went to a national
threw over
championship.
200
Shut the
yards.
fuck
That's
up,
not
Bobby.
true.
The liquor's feeling good now, baby. He never did it. The defense fucking made
Yes.
that team win a national championship. He had a great running back behind him. This guy was a game manager. You can't come to New England at number 3 and be a game manager because you have none of that here. You don't have a wide receiver that can go catch a ball. You don't have a running back that can stand up all season long and run 17 games and win you games. No, you don't. The defense, it's not that good. No, it's not. Even though Gerard Mayo's here, you do not have. This guy is not the perfect prospect. You need to trade out of this pick and get as many picks as you possibly can and draft later in this first round.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want McCarthy at 3
Oh,
either.
you cunt.
Oh,
Ah,
you-
God
I
damn it.
agree.
You
I
fucking
thought I've said
cunt.
the whole
Nasty son
time.
of a bitch.
I've never once said I want to draft JJ McCarthy.
Ray, can you call Wuhan?
And the
and get
Patriots
Bobby
don't
a
want
JJ
to either.
McCarthy Patriots
They're going to
jersey?
take
You
Drake
know I'm going
May.
to fucking send that to Connecticut as soon as possible. As soon as the pick's in, fucking that's going to Wuhan. Get that JJ McCarthy jersey to Connecticut, please.
Can I tell you something? If the Patriots draft JJ, what I think is it's all bullshit. So the
I think it's
thing that
bullshit
came in
too.
this afternoon is top 30 visits. Patriots are taking Drake May in tomorrow. So April snow squall. Welcome to New England, Drake May. This is the place you're going to call
This is
home
where
for
you're
the
gonna
next
throw-
5 years.
Yeah.
Get excited.
Yeah.
They're also taking Jaden Daniels as a pick, so they're gonna. But I know also a lot of talk of Eliot Wolf not playing all of his cards or playing chess before checkers. Is he driving up the cost? I would be shocked if they took JJ McCarthy at 3.
I would be too.
JJ McCarthy at 3 would be a more risky move from a PR standpoint than trading back and acquiring 2 first-round picks this year, taking a tackle, wide receiver, and or a quarterback. Right. So if they took the Minnesota deal 11 and 23 or 22, whatever it is, and took an offensive tackle and a quarterback or a wide receiver and a quarterback, as long as they take a quarterback in the first round, whether it be Penix or I know people hate Bo Nix, but whatever.
You don't. You don't. You love.
I've been talked out of Bo Nix.
Oh, you have. Oh, all right.
And people are sleeping really, really down on Penix. So. Like if you can get a Neighbors and Penix or
Penix could be good. It's just whether or not he physically explodes.
Sure. And now there's talk of the Giants trying to get up because the Vikings are aggressive. So can you go to the Giants a couple picks later and still get a quarterback? Look, the bottom line is if they take JJ McCarthy at 3, I think it's more risky than them trading down than just taking Drake May at 3. Drake May at 3 is the easiest path of least resistance from a PR standpoint that they could take.
Yeah.
I think point blank. If they have any balls, they won't do that because I don't think Drake May is panning out to be a top 3 pick. But I don't know. Maybe they think so.
I don't think there'd be any PR pushback if they traded out. I think they'd be fine.
If they traded out and took a quarterback and took one of those top 6
took players.
If they traded out and take one of those top 6 quarterbacks, I don't think there will be pushback.
No.
If they take out and if they trade out to 11 and they grab a Penix and a Neighbors or a Penix and an offensive tackle, and then I agree with you. I don't think there will be a bunch of pushback from fans. If they take JJ McCarthy at 3,
I agree.
They will have pushback.
Where have you heard this before? Where you've had a quarterback who should have been a second, maybe even a third round pick, who just pushed up the draft board all of a sudden, and then was drafted at I don't know, let's throw out a number 15 or something like that. Where have we seen this before?
Talking about Rapper's Delight.
Yes, I did not know that he was a rapper, but yeah, Mr. Mac Jones himself.
Now he's rapping.
Yeah,
Mr. McGlung on the
Fred Durst
MC Mac.
Yeah,
he's already back in Jacksonville hitting the Mac.
Well, JJ's on the top of the board. Mr. Kendrick Bourne would like you to not sleep on Bailey Zappi. Quote:
That is a scary statement.
I don't want people to forget about Zappi. I believe in him. He's a sleeper that people are really looking over. Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, because he's 3 feet tall.
Yeah, he sucks.
Wow, you're not on the Zappi fever anymore, huh, Bobby?
He's short and he's bad. We watched him play. He's bad.
Let me rifle through these Patriots notes. Patriots are delaying the offseason by 1 week. According to Gerard Mayo, it's because the coaches need to get on the same page. I asked the question, what the fuck have you been doing the whole time?
Well, they're trying to figure out shit, who are we going to take at 3? You still trying to ask Mr. Eliot Wolf, who are we going to be taking?
This is a precursor to our Game of Thrones segment that we will run late on, but you can't feel good about the Patriots right now. Nobody can feel good about the Patriots.
No.
So here's the rule. And I don't know if you guys know it, Bobby. You might know. So if you have a new coach, you get an extra 2 weeks of training camp or lead up. And what the Patriots have done is they've decided to take one of those weeks and piss it down the toilet so they can get on the same page, quote unquote, according to Gerard Mayo.
Like the coaches can get on the same page at any time.
No fucking shit.
Like right now. Like why?
What are they going to do with 7 days that they can't do right now?
Yeah.
Wait till they draft a guy, so they don't know what they're going to do in the draft. Are they going to take
exactly what it is?
Right now?
Yeah. So in that
it shouldn't fucking matter. It should not matter.
But they don't
what
know
they're going to do in the draft. They should be taking a quarterback in the first round, whether that is at 3 or 11 or 22 or 23, whatever. They should be planning to take a quarterback in their first round. And within that quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, a.k.a. Big Black Hoyer, will be starting the season, and your first-round pick will be on the bench. That's your plan. It's your plan for the year, unless that kid shows up in practice and is fucking Aaron Rodgers on steroids, then Big Black Hoyer is your starter for the year. Go win 6 games. Congratulations. Hallelujah.
Go try.
That's your plan, you fucking dopes. What do you need 7 days to prepare for, Alex Van Pelt? To put in another RPO that doesn't work? What the fuck is the problem?
Really iron out the details on it.
Yeah.
No way this works. No fucking way.
It's not going to.
No fucking way. Gerard Mayo is the head coach of the Patriots in 3 years. I'll give him 3.
He's very concerning.
The
At least
only way he's the head coach of the Patriots in 3 years is if the quarterback they take in this first round is awesome. That's it.
It's fair.
So he's not, so he won't be. This is what you're saying. He won't be.
There's going to be 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round of this draft. One of them might be good.
Yeah,
One.
maybe the first one taken off the board, but after that, it's a crapshoot.
Who's going to Chicago? Who
historically
sole
blows.
purpose is to murder quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Duggar dissatisfied with his transition tag. No shit. Good call, Pats. Another fucking notch in the belt of they don't know what they're doing. They don't.
Yeah, they totally misread
know
the market.
what they're doing.
They don't.
They don't know what they're doing.
No. And Kraft
They
doesn't want
gave
any
that
of the
guy
PR
$13
blame
million
either.
salary. He's not worth half of it. The best safety in the league, not in the league. The best safety available is still out there in Simmons from the Broncos.
Denver.
And he's not going to get close to that.
Mm-mm.
He's not going to get close to 14 million, basically, Duggar. And Duggar wants more.
Duggar kind of looks like an asshole.
Yeah, no fucking shit. He looks like an asshole. And the Patriots look at assholes too. Cut that bitch loose. Let him go sign whoever the fuck he wants to sign for. And then go sign Simmons. Because you need an actual safety. You need a free safety who can play coverage, not Duggar, who is a small linebacker. What a dumbass move by Eliot Wolf or Robin Glazer or Johnny Kraft. Who knows?
Johnny
who's calling
Kraft.
the shots down there.
Johnny Kraft.
Johnny Kraft.
Can I give you some fun stuff here? Again, real late, so we're going to pile through here. I got Patriots spending, 2024 positional spending, ranking them of the 32 teams in the NFL by position. Want to do this? This is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty fun.
Okay, here's your positional spending ranking throughout the NFL. At quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, you are 26th out of 32 at $9.7 million. Running back, you are 9th. You're 9th, top 10 at running back.
In a position that doesn't matter.
Yeah, there might be a trend there, Raymond. At wide receiver, position that does matter, you are 23rd.
Yeah.
At tight end, pretty important position, you are 18th, below 50%. At offensive line, you are 19th. Again, below the bottom league. Edge rusher, fairly important. Matthew Judon there, holding it down. 18th again. Defensive tackle, Deshaun Godchaux, you have to thank for this. 11th. You're almost top 10th because of Deshaun Godchaux. When's the last time you heard Godchaux's name pronounced in a game?
When he got taken off the field, probably because he was injured.
There you go.
Yeah.
At linebacker, you're 13th. Not bad. Not bad. Jawan Bentley plays the run pretty good. I don't know anybody else behind that. Cornerback, one of the top 3 positions in the league. You are 12th out of 32, which is pretty. Who's making that money? John Jones?
Yeah.
Has to be.
Gonzo, John Jones, and who
No,
else?
what is oh no, he's not there anymore. Never mind. Jackson? JC Jackson, is he still on the team? No, he
was
got
his
released.
salary counted towards this?
Maybe
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
cap
wondering.
counts towards this.
Yeah.
And then safety, Duggar, we were just talking about 7th, and obviously Duggar has a big part to do with that. So running back, probably the least important position in the field. They're 9th. Safety up there at top 3 least important positions, 7th. So they're spending money at the least important positions in the field. That's another Bill Belichick trend. So anybody wants to blame it on Bill, just look at the payroll, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, quick break.
Ooh, I kind of did well that one. That was good.
Did you? Real quick, because we're running late, we're gonna do a little Red Sox talk.
Probably
Right.
take a nap.
Take a break, Bobby. 5-2 currently as we record this, second in the AL East. And look okay, Raymond. Rafaela.
Well, they played shit. They played no one of importance.
I mean, I guess whatever they play, who they play. It is what it is. Rafaela looks legit. The Tyler O'Neill pickup looks like another Adam Duvall or Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah,
kind of a plug-in guy. Look, I'll get to the bad things. Just let me tell you about the good things. Hot start for Jaron Duran. I hate his name because I want to say Jared, and the ends always put me in a bad way. Jaron Duran. I want to say Jared Duran, but it's Jaron Duran.
No.
6 stolen bases, hitting 393, a couple RBIs in there.
Did he dye his hair blonde? Like, does he have blonde highlights of some sort now?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yoshida looks solid. Devers, decent start. They're pitching. Pavetta, my guy.
Always has been.
Always has been.
Mm-hmm. Fuck you, Bill.
Innings churner, 11 to lead the team. Under 1 ERA through a couple starts, 2 starts. Bayo looks fine. Has some control issues. A couple bad home runs last outing. Crawford, Whitlock, sub 1.8 ERA for all of them. If you listen to anything across the MLB spectrum, these kids are being propped up as like the best pitching prospects they've ever seen. Which, okay, but
so they won't be here in 2 years, pretty much.
Well, they're not going to pay them, but also they're not.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Bullpen pretty solid, except for a weird outing for Joely Rodriguez. The big news. So there's your stats. The big news out of Red Sox Nation. So they started the league in Seattle. They started the league opening day in Seattle, 10 p.m. starts. So no one's watching these fucking games, basically.
No.
And they win a couple of. But the big news out of the West Coast is their goddamn pitching coach. Okay, Andrew Bailey has presented a new approach to pitching. They played the Seattle Mariners, who are one of the better roster lineups in the league. They hit fastballs well, so Andrew Bailey said, "Let's not throw them fastballs. Let's throw them a bunch of junk." And they went and won the series. And now all of a sudden,
split the series.
Andrew Bailey is a goddamn fucking genius. Let me tell you something. If your pitching coach is your best story to start the season,
that's not good.
You suck. You suck. Okay? Or you're at least going to suck. And they're pumping up the tires because you've played the Seattle Mariners, who never meet their expectations, and the Oakland Athletics, who are scheduled to play in some fucking concrete jungle stadium in 2025 to 2027 as their stadium is built in Las Vegas. They won't even let these pieces of shit play in Las Vegas until the stadium is built 4 years from now. That's not even a major league team. They should be playing in Europe.
Like Sacramento, right?
They should be playing baseball in Europe
to get them
against
to
soccer teams. That's how bad those fucking assholes are. So fine. They looked okay. I just don't get crazy about it. And if you want to get crazy about it, be pissed at your ownership and be pissed at your management that you didn't spend a little goddamn money this year. Because if you picked up a Snell or a Montgomery or even both of them, you could have picked up one of them, stayed under the tax by $20 million. You could have picked up both of them, gone over the tax by a little bit. You haven't been over it in 3 years. No big deal. You would have had 2 legitimate starters, 1 Cy Young winner, pushed a Whitlock and a Houck or one of those combinations of the bullpen, which would have been a massive fucking advantage for you. Go sign 1 right-handed bat. One right-handed bat instead of Tyler O'Neill, who's kind of a platoon guy, or a Rafaela, who's a rookie who's going to hit a wall. You have no depth whatsoever. A right-handed bat, a legit starting pitcher or 2, and you're in the fucking playoffs.
No.
Instead, you're 19th, 22nd in spending, and you're going to miss the playoffs by 10 or 11 games because these rookies are going to hit a wall. Someone's going to get injured. You don't have any pitching depth, and here you go. There's your season. I hope you like beating the shit out of the Oakland A's, who should be playing in fucking France.
With nothing wrong with France.
Larry Lucchino died at 78 years old. The three-time World Series champion, president of the Red Sox, deemed the Yankees the evil empire, which has stuck around. Patriots got deemed the evil empire by somebody on the reverse end of that.
Mm-hmm.
He deemed the evil empire in 2002 or 3, Larry Lucchino. So, R.I.P. Larry. That's it. Bobby, baseball thoughts?
Pour one out for Larry.
Very good. Quick break.
Ingrid!
Ingrid's here. But
I know,
also, you
it's
put the
better.
transition as a this or that with Bobby, which is that's not.
Because I didn't
what
have
we-
another one. I'm sorry, baby. Don't worry
Jesus.
about it.
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Christ.
Ooh, that's like
How many what viewers do we have?
doesn't matter.
Ingrid. Never mind. How do you all right.
Doesn't matter. Who cares? Just roll with it, baby. You get so frazzled.
I don't get frazzled.
You're very frazzled.
I just expect a little bit of foresight and a little bit better.
Would you want me to play quick break with Queen again?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
this or that's not coming up.
That's fine.
Why the
But I want to
fuck
see Bobby's
would you
face.
play something that's not happening.
All right.
Unless you have unless you just want to go off the cups, this or that, Bobby.
Ooh, I don't know if I have that in me.
Yeah, that's tough. That's
It's
a
a
tough
Jordan
call.
game right now. You know, it's
Yeah.
a food
Right.
game.
I would rather just do the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, let's do that.
The prospect who was promised a song of suck or blow, a Game of Thrones, is a mist in Foxborough with the power of void left by Mr. Bill Belichick is taking shape. Here's how I look at this, and I've taken a little time to think about this. I'm going to lay it out to you. Belichick and Brady are like the Targaryens, all right? They were the dragons. They had the ultimate power for very, very long. They died off. They left. And now what we're left with is an Eliot Wolf, who one of his reports, we didn't talk about this in this last segment, his opinions of the quarterback. People say that he is really in on JJ, but he's keeping what people are saying. He's keeping his true opinions close to his vest, close to his chest. And you got to remember, Eliot Wolf is a lame duck GM. He doesn't have a contract. So he is either one, a Ned Stark, Game of Thrones reference. He's either Ned Stark doing the bidding of the realm, or he's a Tywin Lannister who's working behind the scenes, fucking shit up with his own plan.
I like it.
Little fun fact: Tywin Lannister is my favorite character of that entire show.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I know you're a big Game of Thrones guy, Ray.
Yeah, I enjoy Jon Snow.
You're a Jon Snow fan,
Yeah, I enjoy Jon
so
Snow.
you're a fucking chick.
Sure. You know me, chick.
All right, Bobby. Surprising to hear that you watched Game of Thrones, but do you have a favorite?
Why is it so surprising? It was a great show.
You just seem like a more of a kind of a lock, stock, and barrel kind of guy. I don't want to get into the fantasy realm.
No, I don't mind stuff like that. It just I don't have a lot of time to like watch a lot of TV, so it just has to
Very
be
busy,
good,
man.
and that's
You're
good.
a very busy guy.
Quite busy.
Who was your champion?
Say it, Bobby.
If it's Jon Snow, you're
I
fucking
think
suck.
Lannister. He was fun.
Tywin
Yeah,
or Tyrion,
Tyrion.
the little guy.
Yeah, the short guy. Yeah, he was fun.
Tyrion's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one really thinks about or respects Tywin, but Tywin was a
He did a lot of stuff.
Tywin controlled the bank behind the scenes, and then he was thrust into.
I liked the
in the forefront.
The younger Stark until he got his head cut off there at the Red Wedding there.
Ned?
No,
No.
his kid.
Oh, Rob?
Yeah, Rob. I liked him until he got killed.
Yeah, he's
Arya. I liked Aryon too.
Arya.
Arya, sorry.
Yeah,
I haven't watched in a while. Sorry.
both of them suck.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Eliot Wolf is playing the role of either Ned Stark who gets his head cut off, or Tywin Lannister who controls shit until.
I hope it's Lannister.
Well, we'll see. Can we get a Mayo clip?
Absolutely. Mayo on Wolf. Here you go.
Who knows what type of head coach you'll be and what Eliot will be. What have you seen from Eliot, who's really entrusted with a pretty immense responsibility here as with the final personnel side that gives you confidence that he's the right person to do this?
I would say overall his steadiness. Eliot has a great attitude and a great mentality when it comes to not only picking players but also the staff. He was very influential in even putting together the coaching staff as well. And I've been watching him from afar for a couple of years now, and it's really gelled nicely. In saying that, I would also say his dad's a Hall of Fame scout, so it's not all like just here in New England. I think he brings a fresh perspective, as we continue to build.
You met his dad by any chance?
His dad, he's come in not quite a few times, maybe once or twice. So last year he came. This was 2 years ago, and I think last year he came as well.
He hasn't been around though.
Well, right now, Mike. Honestly, look, we want to have a not open door policy, but at the same time, we're in a room all day, just really going through players. I don't think that's something he would want to do right now.
Bullshit. You're not in a room doing anything. Eliot Wolf's in a room locked by himself, fucking doing all the dirty work.
Well, yeah, the coaches certainly aren't in a room because they aren't on the same page yet.
They need a week to figure it out. Gerard Mayo is Tommen. Who the youngest of Cersei's kids that got the crown,
who
eventually jumped out the window because it was too much.
That's
Gerard Mayo. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's being thrust into a position of power that really has no control over. He's not driving any of the sticks. He's a mouthpiece for someone put something in front of him, and he's not doing it correctly. He's
the cunty little one that was that the dog always used to protect. Who's
Joffrey.
him? Joffrey, yeah, he's Joffrey.
Mayo's not even Joffrey because he doesn't have the gumption of Joffrey. He's Tommen. He's Joffrey's younger brother. When Joffrey died, Tommen got the throne, and Tommen's just a big pussy, and he eventually jumps out of the window. And that's what Mayo's going to do at the end of this 2 or 3 year window when the Patriots suck so bad, and he has to get the fuck out of there.
He never talks about football.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Joffrey.
Of course you did.
I like Joffrey.
Joffrey's 1,000% one of the worst characters on the
I
show.
loved him though.
I think Gerard Mayo as Tommen is one of the pinpoint character assignments that we have in this segment. He's just the soft-bellied idiot who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Here's another one. Robert Baratheon Kraft. Robert Baratheon at the end was just a drunk moron spilling tea, going out, killing boars, got himself stabbed by some sabotage, and didn't know what the fuck was going on. Sounds a lot like Robert Kraft right now. Kind of getting out there. Doesn't have a lot of intelligent things to say. Doesn't want to give a shit.
He likes his horse too.
He does like his horse.
That's what I was looking for. Then you got the people that are really running the show. You got Littlefinger, a.k.a. Johnny Kraft. Johnny, a.k.a. Littlefinger Kraft.
Playing both sides of the ball.
And his host, Cersei Glazer, or Robin Glazer. Those two guys, Cersei, Littlefinger, Johnny Kraft, and Glazer, they got hold of the money. They hold the purse strings. They're pulling strings here and there. Really calling the shots. You got a couple power struggles across the realm, but those guys kind of in charge. I like so Bobby's favorite character, Tyrion Lannister, the little person. Tough to put that guy in a football perspective, although I think Alex Van Pelt, who's also kind of round and oddly shaped, fits that mold. I don't think he's as smart as a Tyrion Lannister. who really kind of eventually he ends up killing Tywin Lannister, who in this place would be Eliot Wolf. So that might work. Alex Van Pelt may murder.
I like Matthew Judon as that
Eliot
role.
Wolf.
Who
Guy behind the scenes, kind of disfigured man, just going out there trying to wheel and deal, trying to get people to come on his side, kind of like what he did in the later seasons.
That's a terrible pick, Bobby.
Thank you.
Who was the guy? I thought of a good person for McAdoo. Who was the guy? He wasn't part of one of the noble houses, but he was like he was the eunuch. Who was he? But he was doing stuff behind the scene.
Secrets. The
That's McAdoo.
I like that. Yeah,
That's McAdoo.
Oh.
Because he's kind of behind the scenes, but he is going to have influence.
Varric.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Bald guy. Kind of
Yeah,
fat,
a short bald guy. His character was also on The Wire.
Yeah. Master of Secrets or Master of Spies or something like that.
Yeah, whatever he did, but yeah, I like him, McAdoo.
I like that. Yeah, McAdoo could fit that role for sure. So who is Jon Snow, aka Khaleesi, the prince who was promised, the prospect who was promised? It could be JJ McCarthy as a Khaleesi who has all of the perfect fucking prospect, but just none of the actual gumption to get it done. And then you need a Jon Snow to actually pull the trigger, stab him in the heart, which may, it may be on the roster, it may be Big Black Hoyer.
Big Black Hoyer, yeah.
That's Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Jacoby Brissett is Jon Snow.
I guess he has to be.
JJ McCarthy is
A lot
Khaleesi.
of players to fit some of these roles.
It's a lot of roles. Raymond, or Bobby. Anyway, here's some other characters you want to take a shot. You got the Hound, Brianna Tarth, Hodor, the Night King, Jaime Lannister, Sam. Any you want to toss some people onto that?
The Hound would be Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick is a Targaryen. We've already established that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because now he's gone. Now he was here. He was a hero.
The Hound would be Ernie Adams. If you're
okay, I like that.
They both like to say cunt.
They sure do.
That's fun.
They sure do.
Who could the Night King be for the Patriots?
Tom Brady.
No.
You're an idiot. Are you that drunk?
Yeah.
The Night King might as well be Robert Kraft because he's going to be the one that fucks everything up.
The Night King kind of sucked though. He got trampled by a little girl. Night King might be like Peyton Manning, maybe a
Patrick Mahomes.
Maybe a Mahomes. Maybe a Mahomes. We could come up with some names.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a Jaime Lannister. He was a big character at the beginning.
Yeah, Jaime Lannister.
Someone that fucks his sister. Let's see here.
Who?
Jaime Lannister would have been like a front office guy. It would like a
someone maybe in the beginning of the dynasty.
He would have been like a Nick Man. He would have been like a Mangini. Ooh, Mangini could be Jaime Lannister.
Drew Bledsoe could be
like a reverse Jaime Lannister. Lannister comes around and it's kind of on the side of the good guys, but Mangini did a reverse. Bledsoe, maybe Bledsoe. Bledsoe feels like a Hodor, just kind of a useless.
Yeah.
Goes out and AFC
just banging around,
like
fucking help me, and very nice. Like everybody loves him, but also not a lot to offer. Bledsoe as Hodor really works for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's close it up real quickly with Simplest Minds of the Week.
Oh, back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. A bit of a daywalker myself.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as a stupid does.
I like how Bobby laughs at that every week.
It tickles me.
Ray, is the clear liquor making you tired?
No why?
You just seem a little sleepy, a little like less.
It's been a day. I had to shovel my driveway. I had no power, so yeah, it's been a day.
Hold on, whoa. It snowed there?
Huh? Oh yeah, we got like 4 or 5 inches.
That sucks.
Yeah. It was wet, heavy snow.
You had to shovel it like some sort of cave person?
Yep.
You have no snow in the shitty state of Connecticut, Bobby?
No, just rain.
You know what it did in my state?
Sunny.
Sunny.
Great. I'll be in Myrtle Beach in T-minus 4 days, so I don't give a fuck.
Look at you.
You do, because you had a shovel today, and you were.
Oh, that's good. That's you got your beach body too. Nice.
Oh, you do have your beach.
Well, I'm going golfing for 5 days, so I don't. Whatever.
A 5-day golf excursion. Good for you.
5-day golfing.
Yeah, I won't be here next week, so have fun.
Wow. Such a cunt about it, you know?
How am I cunt?
Nice, shitty.
Thank you.
Just so shitty about it.
Nice. Thanks, baby.
Prick. Simplest minds of the week. Here's a good one here. So the eclipse is happening.
Well, I hope this happens.
I do too. Conspiracy theorists think the eclipse will begin a quote massive human sacrifice event. Some conspiracy theorists appear to believe that the massive human sacrifice event will take place during the total solar eclipse on April 8th. Will you be in Myrtle Beach at that point, Raymond?
Yes, I will, and I'll be golfing.
Ooh, hopefully that's not ground zero for human sacrifice events.
Not coming back. Without anything even approaching evidence, a fairly popular post to the conspiracy subreddit explains that they are concerned that the overlaying path of the totality of the 2017 eclipse with the 2024 total eclipse forms an X near the new Madrid fault line. Can you bring that up again?
I just had it. No, I
know.
can't. I cannot.
You literally can't bring it up?
No, because I deleted it. So
why would you delete it?
Because I put it up there and then I delete it because I don't. Never mind. Just keep talking.
I hope the eclipse erases you.
It's pretty close to Myrtle Beach.
If something were to trigger a fault line, something man-made, they could make look completely natural. This is from a conspiracy theorist. It could mean a serious loss of life disaster for the U.S. A conspiracy theorist wrote on Reddit, an earthquake on the New Madrid fault line could be up to 20 times larger than an earthquake in the SoCal epicenter. So there you go. If you didn't see it before, or if you're just listening, the map of the United States 2017, the solar eclipse went across. There's like 6 or 7. It kind of
northwest to the southeast.
Good job, Ray. It also touched like 6 or 7 towns called Salem. So you got some conspiracy theorists on that too. And now this one is kind of making an X across that. And these guys are saying that because of that, the world's going to end. So
hopefully,
there you go. If you're in Myrtle Beach, hold on to your britches and also look for Dr. Big Mac on the greens.
Mostly the rough.
Mostly the rough. Here's one. Here's a football simplest minds for you. N'Keal Harry's college coach explains what went wrong for the wide receiver's tenure in the Patriots. This one's fun. Quote, he had too many followers, man. That's what killed him. That poor kid. Edwards told Dune. This was what's his name?
Herm
Edwards.
He had hanger-oners, and it was like, come on, N'Keal, because talent-wise, he's got enough talent. He's a big, strong, physical receiver to catch the ball. Then he went to New England, and that was the worst place he could go because it just didn't fit. It didn't fit him, man. Talent sometimes can be a curse. I've always said that. If you don't use it correctly, it can be a curse to you, Edwards said. You've got so much talent, and you think, I got this. You ain't got it. Because the problem is you're going into a league where everybody's got talent, and you've got to work at it. Herm Edwards. Is that why N'Keal didn't work?
No, he fucking sucked. And he couldn't catch footballs, and he couldn't run routes. That's why. Jesus Christ.
He had too many hangers-oners, man.
No, that wasn't the problem.
Herm Edwards. All right, here's a good one. Nick Cage says he remembers being in the womb. Nick Cage says his earliest childhood memory is actually being in his mother's womb. During an interview with Variety, this is very small link. Cage said, quote, "Let me think. Listen, I know this sounds really far out, but I don't know if it's real or not, but sometimes I think I can go all the way back into utero, feel like I can see faces in dark or something." Cage said, "I know that sounds powerfully abstract, but that somehow seems like it happened." I'm not going to argue against Con Air.
No. National treasure. Hello.
Obviously, it's his claim is irrefutable.
Yeah. He believes it. Yeah.
I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. Ray, congratulations on your loose jowls. I'm glad everybody could join us tonight. Thank you to Chris. This has been Some of My Sports Show. Friday rerun April 5th, live April 4th. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.